taxes to come up with another project yet to be studied and laid out in front of us.
Exactly, and so whereas the Keystone pipeline would generate tax revenue at both state, local, and federal levels, create tens of thousands of construction jobs. The Teamsters, amazing. We have the union who typically have been supporting Democratic presidents are strongly in favor of this. So it's sort of a thumb in the eye for them.
Yeah, just the other night on Larry Connor's USA, I did have some statements from Jimmy Hoffa, the Teamsters leader, and said exactly that. He said, that we think it's good. We wanted to see it go through. And when he was asked, well, the president often listens to you. Why isn't he listening this time? His response is, well, he doesn't always listen to me.
Well, that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It seems like he's listening to a really small, extreme group of environmentalists who have ignored the environmental impact statements and have taken this as more of a line in the sand that has no meaning. Because if we don't have the pipeline, the vast majority of that oil is going to go east or west out of Canada to probably to China. We won't have the good refining jobs. We won't have the construction jobs here in the U.S. And we won't have a section of pipeline that we could use to get the American oil to the refineries from North Dakota, which is actually really important. We're shipping them on train. A lot of the oil will still come to the U.S. from train, which is, it's reasonably safe, but nowhere near as safe as doing it on a pipeline and uses more energy. And the environmental impact of shipping by train is greater than by pipeline.
And in fact, the Nebraska Supreme Court just earlier this month paved the way for that. And again, we're talking about 1,179 miles of pipeline.
Right, people should understand that there's a lot more pipeline than that already in existence. This is an additional important pipeline, but it's not like it's plowing virgin territory, putting pipelines where there've never been pipelines. And so it's hard to understand why the opposition is so intense. I think a lot of people really don't understand what's going on.
But then on the other side, I want to make sure we get the other side's views expressed anyway. Yeah. While supporters are saying 30 to 40,000 jobs, there's one estimate. I don't know where they come up with this. It would create just 35 permanent jobs. I guess they're talking about that. After it's all built, you're going to need just 35 folks to monitor the line. Is that what it comes down to?
Well, only in Washington can they envision a construction project that never ends. I mean, all construction projects have temporary jobs, and then you move on to the next construction project. And what we don't want to have is a government that's thwarting construction project after construction project. But this is a big one, and a lot of jobs are going to be created from the impact of getting more oil to the market, of getting this oil to U.S. refineries instead of Chinese refineries. So that 35 jobs or 65 jobs or whatever it is, if that's simply the number of people that have to run up and down the line, that's a gross underestimate of the jobs impact of this pipeline.
Well, this administration said it wanted shovel-ready jobs. This one looks like it's shovel-ready.
It's shovel-ready and it's finance-ready. I mean, we don't have to pay more taxes. We get tax revenue. That's what's so amazing. The people in Washington equate this construction project with a construction project that has to be financed with tax dollars. This one pays for itself and generates tax revenue.
There's the other issue that some say, well, you're really talking about transporting crude from Canada's tar sands, and that's going to create more pollution during production than traditional forms of oil.
Well, it uses more energy because you have to heat the oil sands to get it to flow, and you have to mix it with some other oil that's lighter to get it to flow. But it's not dirtier to refine. It's not dirtier when you burn it. Matter of fact, it's only dirty in the sense that colorless, odorless, non-toxic CO2 is dirty, because it takes some more heat. But that's all, and it's not a huge amount more. So that's really what the game is here, is that these extreme environmentalists don't want more energy. So they're using all the tools they can to scare people and to stop it. They would be happy to block off the oil production in Texas as well.
Oh, I'm sure of that. Yeah, I'm sure of that.
Yeah, they just don't want oil production. That's all there is to it.
Now, we're talking about an $8 billion project. The White House, again, has said it's going to veto any legislation, and also saying we're waiting on the State Department's review. What is the State Department reviewing at this point? This thing's 6 years in study and so forth, and we're still at the point it's let's continue to study.
That's an excellent question, and they've had multiple environmental impact statements from the State Department that have said this should be green lighted. There's not a problem with that. So they're going back, I guess, making them redo it until they get the answer that they want, which isn't the right answer.
We're talking to Dr. David Kreutzer. Kreutzer. I apologize, sir.
That's all right.
I truly apologize. And we're talking about earlier, as you said, this is, the pipeline total is about 1,100 miles, and this bill basically is just forcing completion of 840 miles of it just to make that connection. Let's move forward.
Exactly. Congress did this back in the 70s for the Alaska pipeline, and the president did sign it. And that pipeline was completed in about 2 years and has been a great boon to the U.S. economy and to the Alaskan economy as well. So, I'm not saying we would get the same dramatic impact, but it will be a positive impact. There'll be more jobs, there'll be more tax revenue, there'll be more income. It will not cost any tax dollars to do it.
And when you look at it compared to the Alaskan pipeline, do we not see success with that? And what kind of real pollution issues have been created since it started?
Right. Virtually all of the concerns of the Alaska pipeline have been proven false. That it was going to mess up the caribou herds.
And that's pristine
we
land.
We have more caribou now.
Yeah, that's pristine land too. That they obviously I would want to protect as well.
Right. You want to protect it. And by the way, the pipeline in Alaska had to be above ground in many places because of the permafrost. But the XL pipeline will be for almost the entirety will be below ground. So they'll have to disturb some land as they build it. Then they'll cover it back up.
Well, let's deal with the other issue. This vote coming through the Senate, 62 to 36, 53 Republicans, 9 Democrats. So
right.
We got some Democrats signed on. But if the president vetoes it, I don't see the votes to override the veto.
No, probably not. You never know, though, how things happen when it comes to. Sometimes you lose votes, sometimes you pick them up. The bill will be may have to change a little bit to when you get the House side and the Senate side bills are slightly different, and that would give legislators an opportunity to say, well, I like it better, I like it less, whatever. And there's all sorts of horse trading that goes on in D.C. I don't have to tell you that. So we'll see. But my guess is that the president will be successful in his veto.
And to that extent, I mean, when we started talking about this project 6+ years ago, we saw the oil prices going up and up. And, most recently we've seen them $4.50. And we're looking at high unemployment rate, near 10%. Now the unemployment's dropping off. The oil prices are down. And some of those who are opposed to it say, see, we don't need it now. I say it's cyclical. All of this is cyclical. And those prices will be going back up. And you better be ready for the next run.
Right, and we want to keep them low, and we want again that that this is the energy is the lifeblood of the economy, and it will also go through American refineries. That our refineries are set up perfectly to refine this sort of petroleum, and when we get additional barrels from Canada, we need fewer barrels from Venezuela. Venezuela and Mexico have similar qualities of oil, and they would go through the same sort of refineries that we've built on the Gulf of Mexico.
All right.
So we could be swapping out oil from Venezuela, who has not been a very good friend to us.
And not likely to be either. Thank you very much for your time, taking so much with us today. I do appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me on. If people want to see more, they can go to heritage.org.
Very good, and I'll be calling you in the future for Larry Connor's USA programs as well. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. David Kreutzer. I apologize again. I just already had it in my mind to pronounce it one way, and I can't get off of it. But again, I appreciate him. He's an expert in energy economics and climate change. You're listening to the McGraw-Milhaven program.